Okay, so first of all, let me preface this video with how much I procrastinated doing this, which is normally a telltale sign for me that I should try it. I was met with a lot of overwhelm and fatigue. Usually that means I should actually rest, but I have been procrastinating this video for weeks at this time, and this is one of the only next few free nights that I have, so I don't care how this goes. I'm just gonna do it. I said I was gonna do it. I want to do it. I want to learn some of this stuff. So the first video in this playlist has an introduction on this book. It's called The Science of Yoga, and it's basically like a yoga biology textbook to help understand the anatomy and physiology to perfect your practice by Anne Swanson. For myself, I actually am an ex-biology and ex-neuroscience student and scientist, and I have forgotten a lot of my basic biology, and this actually very much helps. And this also helps, I think, when I've gone to the occasional like yoga class, teachers tend to talk a lot about how these poses do affect your anatomy and your physiology. So I think this was just something that I wanted to, and I learned by interacting with information. I'm very much not a reader, an absorber in that way. This book goes into the seated poses, it goes into the standing poses, and then I believe it goes into the inversions, so the downward dogs, the camel, the back bend. So I'm going to start with a very well-known pose called the accomplished, and I guess its formal name in Sanskrit is siddhasana, and I'll read the descriptions. Siddhasana. This seated pose is so called because the traditional purpose of all the other poses is to prepare your body physically for this meditative posture. The neutral spine and engaged abdominals should make this pose steady and comfortable. If it isn't, try other options. Your back muscles and abdominals engage while stretching muscles on the outside of your hips. You may feel this minimally, but for many people it can be challenging to maintain a neutral spine and pelvis using muscles in ways your body isn't used to. I feel that. Siddhasana, the book talks through the alignment of it. So your spine is neutral to hold your weight most efficiently. Allow a sense of lightness in your spine. Your shoulders roll back, slightly pulling your shoulder blades together. It says in the diagram, imagine your head floating up, chin parallel to the floor, spine elongating, shoulders released back and down, spine neutral, chest broad, and pelvis neutral. And so currently how I'm standing in this crisscross applesauce, this is actually technically a variation, which is a common variation called Sukhasana. So this is actually Sukhasana, a variation, and Siddhasana is actually when I think you hold your dominant foot in the center. But Sukhasana, I'll start there. Sukhasana, the common variation Sukhasana or easy pose has the legs crossing at the shins. For many, this is not to be so easy. Find support by sitting on a prop to elevate your hips. That is a great tip for this pose, especially if you're using it to enter a practice and to meditate and to start meditating. For some reason, this really just grounds, for me when I do this, it just really just grounds me. And it takes some of the pressure off of my hips and lower back. We'll walk through the alignment one more time. And I will go into actual Siddhasana. Okay. Imagine your head floating up, chin parallel to the floor, spine elongating, shoulders released back and down, neutral spine and pelvis neutral, chest broad. It's a little bit of like a body scan through this pose. I'm like automatically taking deep breaths. We'll top down. It goes into a little bit more of the muscles, the tendons, and the groups of biological systems that this pose influences. In the neck, to stabilize your cervical spine in a natural curve, your cervical extensor muscles, your splenius captus, and cervices, I thought that said cervix, engage while in a neutral or slightly lengthening position. Activate this by imagining your head as light as a helium balloon. So this is my neck, my splenius muscles and my trapezius muscles. And then we go to the shoulders and the arms. Your arms relax with the palms of your hands facing up, supinated. your hands facing up, I guess. Your posterior deltoid initiates external shoulder rotation while your anterior deltoid is slightly stretching. And the deltoids are muscles right in the front of your shoulders. So your arms relax with the palms of your hands facing up or supinated. And then we go to the torso. And there's a ton of muscles and hip and flexors here, bones, your ribs, your spinal in the torso. Your spinal extenders and transversus abdominis engage to lengthen and stabilize your spine into neutral, while your rectus abdominis stretches slightly. Your multifidus engages sending feedback to your brain about your body's position. So that's proprioception, kind of like your brain knowing where you are in space. So this helps build some of that. Your rhomboids and middle and lower trapezius engage slightly to retract your scapulae, which you consciously release any tension held in your upper trapezius. Your latissimus dorsi and other back muscles may be minimally engaged to stabilize you in a position. So this is, there's so many things, so many terms that were just said, but there's muscles around your rib cage and muscles in the center of your core. And in siddhasana, when you finally relax your neck, roll your shoulders back, those are the muscles that actually end up engaged, which is pretty crazy because you think they call it an easy pose, but it is actually, I actually feel, having sat here for a couple minutes now, I feel it. I'm feeling the pull here. And then the last part of the biological systems that this pose influences are the thighs and lower legs, your hip flexors, mainly your iliopsoas, help maintain hip flexion. You may feel engagement of more thigh muscles here. Consider using props until you can relax unnecessary engagement. Your quadriceps, gluteus maximus, and hip abductors are stretched. You may feel stretching around your ankles, which are in plantar flexion. So yeah, maybe this would be good for all my lower back and hip issues. I'm feeling tired just being here. Okay, siddhasana. Siddhasana. I'm in siddhasana, not sukhasana, right? Sukhasana, siddhasana. And I'm gonna, I think, if I have my right leg higher above my left leg, I should, at some point, if this is a long introduction, I should swap. So I'll align my head. It's free floating. My shoulders are down and back. My torso is long and my hips are sitting. Imagine your head floating up, chin parallel to the floor, spine elongating, shoulders released back and down, chest broad, spine neutral, pelvis neutral. It's really hard. I'm feeling it in my lower back because I've been hunched at a desk all day. Oh my God. They say this is an easy pose. Okay, and then it gives us a little bit more information from the back side of this pose. So in accomplished or siddhasana pose, your invertebral discs are stacked on top of each other, creating the natural curves of the neutral spine. As you breathe, your ribcage expands and releases efficiently, which is facilitated by sitting with a tall, good posture. And then this talks about the very basics of the movement in this pose. So when you inhale, your rib cage expands, your breastbone lifts up and outward, and diaphragm contracts and descends. Right, your diaphragm actually goes down. When you exhale, rib cage contracts, breastbone moves down and inward, and diaphragm releases and comes up. As you inhale, your breastbone lifts while your rib cage expands in all directions and the diaphragm descends. As you exhale, your breastbone and ribs return down and inward and the diaphragm ascends to push out carbon dioxide. Allow this movement as you breathe. So it's really good to just kind of sit in this and feel how that's happening. You can't really feel your diaphragm, but exhale, things go in. Inhale, there's more space made for It talks a little bit more about the spine. When your spine is in its neutral, it talks about the spine. It's called distacking. When your spine is in its neutral curvature, in a neutral position, your vertebrae are stacked and the gravitational load on your invertebral discs is evenly distributed. Your discs are made of squishy fibrocartilage, allowing your spine to move dynamically. It's actually very good for your spine to sit it in a neutral position when you can. Head is light as if flowing upwards. Middle and lower trapezius engage with rhomboids to stabilize scapulae. And it talks about kind of like what happens when you slouch and when you elongate your spine. So when slouching, back muscles, including rhomboids, may be locked long, which causes shoulder blades to spread forward and pectorals, pectoralis minor muscles to shorten. If you slouch like this, try rolling your shoulders back to awaken your rhomboids, which are in the back of your neck and your shoulders. Try rolling your shoulders back to awaken your rhomboids. This creates a muscular sling of tension for efficient posture. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like my posture in general is pretty bad. I don't know when I kind of developed this low-key scoliosis. I feel like I need to build strength, a lot more strength in my gut and my legs and my hips and my glutes before I'll actually ever have like a straight neutral spine. I don't know how to describe it. And I'm feeling really defeated talking through this book. I don't know the last time I've read out loud. I did not mean for this to get emotional, but that's how I'm feeling right now. I've been procrastinating this because I knew it was going to be hard and challenging and different from what I've been doing. So maybe I'll stop here because I also then will edit and that will take time too. But I think really what has helped me is if I'm to be a yoga instructor, I think I might have to make like flashcards of like each pose and then where on your neck and like what are the muscles. But I'm not sure if people are actually interested in the exact muscle types and the exact ligaments and things that actually, I'm not sure, but it like how detailed people like to go in their practice. But I think like reading just the proper alignment of this pose, because it's, it's just sitting. Oh, I can sit. But I think it's good to kind of like at least get the proper alignment in these poses. So imagine your head floating up, chin parallel to the floor, shoulders rolled back and down, neutral spine, broad chest, neutral pelvis. That flow of the poses I think is helpful for me to talk through and learn, because if I am to teach, when I go into a yoga class or listen to an instructor, that's what I listen for. If I'm in a pose and I need some guidance, I'm listening for those little cues on where to relax and where to strengthen. Okay, so this is siddhasana as described in The Science of Yoga by Anne Swanson. Siddhasana, the accomplished. I'll go through the next couple seated poses in the next couple videos. We'll learn a little bit by bit, trying so hard not to just beat myself up. Thanks for being here. I'm glad I showed up today. Thanks.